It was 4:30 a.m. on a cold, dark morning. I was chasing a dream most said was impossible. A dream I had since I was a little boy, briefly derailed by a devastating injury. The turf was literally frozen and temperatures in the teens. There were no lights, no cameras, nobody watching. The sun was nowhere near up yet, and neither was a single sane human being. It was just me, my dream, and multiple vomit-inducing sprints. Working, alone, in the dark. In the modern world of Instagram fame and look at me success, it's tempting to see the end result and assume it just happened. What you don't see is the years of early mornings in the cold and late nights when no one was watching. It's balancing multiple jobs to pay the bills while you pursue something. While you pursue something that only you can understand. It's saying no to the unrelenting voice in your head that's telling you to give up. This is stupid, impossible, not worth it. It's in the dark where true success happens. It's the thousands of reps that aren't posted on the internet for strangers to judge. If you want the public success, you must put in the private work. The journey looks different for everyone, but one thing remains the same. The work is done in the dark. Sorry, I did.
No.
Didn't think that was gonna happen, but
well,
it takes you back, man.
Yeah.
You know,
we both have we both have a few years in common that we struggled in the dark, and going back and reflecting on those, it's real. It brings up the emotions, the amount of emotional, physical investment that we put into those times. I get it. I totally get it. By the way, that was well written.
Thank you.
Talked about last episode how you enjoy writing. I get it. I totally get it. Didn't know you had it in you, but I get it.
Yeah, I mean, just reading that, you're exactly right. I literally, before I opened that and we said, hey, I'm going to read something, I wrote real quick. I didn't expect that to happen. I thought I was just going to roll right through it. Yeah. But it's wild how my mind went back to that day. My mind went back to that year. Mm-hmm. And if you don't know what we're talking about, we haven't really gone through my story on this podcast, but essentially I was, played college football. The goal was obviously, NFL football, professional football. My last year, my senior year, I ended up tearing my ACL. Which that wasn't what prevented me ultimately. What prevented me was let's just be honest, I wasn't good enough. I wasn't a high enough or a well sought enough out prospect to make it. And so, but
what week was it again?
It was the eighth game.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was having a great year, probably my best year of my career. I was an All-American the year before that, and then my senior year, I was on a even higher trajectory. My statistics were all even better. So was talking to scouts just about every single week. It was all happening for me, right? Yeah. Like the dream was coming to reality. Now again, I wasn't going to be a first round pick. I'm not saying I probably wasn't even going to be a draft pick. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is my hope was I was getting an opportunity. And so when that knee injury happened, immediately it's like, okay, I've got two choices here. I can pack it up, quit, say, this just isn't worth it. Like, you weren't going to be drafted anyway. Now you're certainly not going to be drafted. Like, this is a dumb dream. Go. How many guys even make it anyway? That's what was going through my mind. Mm-hmm. Or I could be illogical, be psychotic, and think, you know what, I'm going to overcome this. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to fight back. And I'm not going to let this be I'm going to go out on my terms as opposed to, something else dictating the end of the road for me. And that's what I chose. And I chose, I'm going to rehab this thing. And the way college football works, or the way the professional college football relationship works, is after your last year, whether that's your junior year, sophomore year, senior year, whatever, whenever you're going to be draft eligible, quote unquote. For me, it was after my last year. I wasn't leaving early, obviously. You have your pro day that next semester. And I think the last college game is, December sometime or January if you make a bowl game. And your pro days, it can be February. It can be March. It can be April, somewhere in there. I think ours was in March. I tore my knee in November. So I essentially had November, December, January, February, March. I had 5 months from a devastating knee injury to get ready for the biggest day of my life in relation to my dream. And I remember literally 6 hours a day of rehab. Constantly, if I was at home, I was stretching. That's all. It consumed my mind so much that 5 months. That's all I thought. I had this dream and this goal so big. There was nothing that I was gonna do to stop myself. I was going after that. And so it was 6 hours a day of rehab. It was constantly thinking. And I got myself to a point where I couldn't do a lot of the drills, like a lot of the agility drills. Obviously, I'm 5 months removed from a major knee injury. I can't do that type of stuff. But I could run the 40, and I could actually ended up catching passes and running routes. Now, it wasn't full go.
Yeah.
And it went well. It went really well. And I ended up getting an invite by a team. And this is really where I thought I'd put in the work then, but the work really started. It was the draft, came and went again. The ego in me was like, hey, maybe there's a chance. Maybe somebody calls me in the 7th round or maybe a free agent call or something like that. So the draft ends on a Saturday and nothing. Not a piece. I didn't even have an agent then. So literally teams were having to call me direct. Yeah. And nothing. And I hear, all my teammates, you had 3 or 4 teammates, one of them got drafted. Another 2 or 3 are getting free agent calls on Saturday. And my phone is just crickets, nothing. And I'm sitting there thinking, man, this is devastating. This is the end for me. All the negative thoughts that can go in your mind. Mm-hmm. So go to sleep that night. I'm devastated. Wake up that morning and a Washington, D.C. number calls me. I'm like, that's weird. Who's this? And I pick up the phone. And at the time, it was the Washington Redskins. They said, hey, we want you to come, be a part of our training camp. We think you're a hell of a player. We know about the knee injury, but, we're okay. We want to invite you up and see what happens. And so this would be a tryout. They weren't signing me. This was going to be, I was going to have to go up there and fight for it for those 3 days. Would that have
been a rookie minicamp deal?
Rookie minicamp. Yeah. And as well as I do, rookie minicamp, they need bodies. They need guys out there. And so every now and then, very rarely, I know this now, I didn't know this at the time, very rarely, maybe one of those guys will catch the coach's attention, but it's pretty much you're just up there as a camp body just so they can get through the drills. Yeah. That's what I was going to be. Yeah. Again, I didn't know this at the time, but that's what I was going to be. So again, the Sunday morning, they make that call, they invite me up, my dream's coming true. Like this is the greatest thing ever. All that 5 months of work, it's because at this point now I'm only 6 months removed from ACL surgery. I think they were making a big deal about Adrian Peterson 9 months after playing a game. I was trying to do this at 6 months. Yeah. And I felt ready. I was like, I'm good to go. So anyway, they called me on that Sunday, invite me up. I'm getting pumped. Their equipment guys are calling me, hey, what size shorts do you wear, shirt, cleats, all that good stuff. Hey, we need your flights, getting all this figured out. I was supposed to fly out that next Thursday, or that same Thursday. So call on a Sunday. This upcoming Thursday, I was supposed to fly out. And they called me on Wednesday morning. And they say, hey, man, no, we just talked a few days ago. Know you were excited about coming up. We've talked with our team doctors. You're still only 5 months out of ACL surgery. The last thing we want is for you to come up here and re-injure yourself. And again, in my mind, I'm sitting there thinking,
that's not your decision.
Yeah, well, but at the charitable side of my mind was thinking, oh, that's kind of cool. They're looking out for me. They weren't looking out for me. They just didn't want to. They didn't want to have to pay for a knee surgery for some gimp to come up there if I got hurt again. So anyway, devastating. Again, another setback. Just, I was, and if you're not watching, I was this close. I was right there. That everything I worked for the last 5 months with no fanfare, nobody watching. It was just me getting after it. Hardest I've ever worked in my life. And I was this close. And they just pulled it out from under me. So again, I had another fork in the road. I'm about to get married. Life needs to begin in a certain way. My wife's still in school. It's not like I can just, not make money. We got to do something. And so So I decided, so I could have said, you know what, I'm just going to go get a job. I'll provide for my family and we're going to be good. But I said, no, you know what? I'm going to give it another year. I'm going to work out hard. I'm going to grind this next year. And hopefully next year when pro day comes back again, my coaches will let me do pro day again because they're cool. It'll give me another opportunity. And so that was the date in my mind, was next March 2012. I'm going to be in the best shape of my life, running faster than I've ever run, stronger than I've ever been. And so that's when I made that decision, was in, April or May of 2011. I said, I'm gonna make this happen. And so for the next year, I had to wake up super early in the morning. I don't remember, 4:35 in the morning, and go get my weight training in. That was the first thing I had to do. Was first thing in the morning I had to go weight train. After I get done with that, I had to immediately go to my job, which paid for my family because I was getting married, and paid for my wife and everything like that, and supported us. And it was moving furniture all day. From 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., I had to move furniture all day long. So I've already worked out, 5:30 in the morning, go to my job at 7, work all day long in a very physically active job, moving furniture. 5 p.m., I get off of work, go home, change, don't even see my wife, who I haven't seen all day anyway. Don't see her, go home, change, head up to the fields where my old college team is practicing, and they get done practicing at 5:30, something like that. And my old quarterback would stick around after practice and throw me routes for the next hour. Mm-hmm. So from 5:30 to 6:30, I'm out there running routes, working on speed, doing all this stuff, which was, I look back now, how cool that was for him to do that. Yeah. He's like, dude, I want to go home, but he's sitting there after practice throwing me routes. Yeah. So anyway, 6:30 at night, again, nobody's like, some people are witnessing this a little bit, but it's not like news reporters, or there's no Instagram. It's not like I'm making this known that I'm out here grinding and working hard. Like, it was solely 100%. In the lab. It was 100% for me. Yeah. And for my wife. That was all that was on my mind. Yep. Was, I'm going to make this happen for us. Yep. I'm going to make this happen for me. I'm not going out like that. And so I would get home at 6:30, 7 o'clock. My wife would have dinner ready. We would eat, hang out for a little bit. I'd go to bed. Guess what? I'm doing it all over again. There were no days off. There were no times off. There was never a time where I skipped. It was, that entire year was dedicated to this dream that I had. And ultimately it ended up, I had a couple of tryouts, didn't end up producing anything, the end result wasn't what I hoped for. But what that year taught me, what that previous 2 years taught me, coming back from that, was the importance of working when nobody's watching. Yeah. Not doing it for the fanfare, not doing it because, your 10,000 Instagram followers expect you to do it. Doing it because the drive is within you. Doing it because you have a goal and a dream so big that nothing's going to stop you. And that taught me to push harder than I've ever pushed before. It taught me to pursue things that aren't rational. That is not a typical path. No. And you know this just as well as anybody. It's not realistic to think that was going to work out for me. But that wasn't in my mind. That was the furthest thing from my mind, was I'm going to put in this work for this year because this dream is so important to me.
Let me ask you this. You said, all right, I'm motivated because I've got to provide for my wife. But deeper than that, right? Because if your sole motivation was to provide for your wife, there's other things you could have done.
That's a nice bow on the reasoning. That was a very small part of it. Let me ask you. I was a horrible husband that year, by the way. Horrible husband.
We all
think about it.
Trust me, I know.
But this is my first year of marriage, and I see my wife 30 minutes a day.
Yeah.
Because I'm pursuing this dream of mine.
Yeah. So, but let's talk about the dream, because you said, it's irrational, it's illogical, it's this. I would argue that it's irrational, illogical not to pursue that. This is my question to you, is did you really truly love the game of football?
Loved it. I loved everything about that year.
Yeah.
Like, if you listen to that, you think, man, he worked really hard. It didn't feel like work.
Yeah.
I was so obsessed with that idea that I was going to do it, that waking up early didn't bother me. Going and working out first thing in the morning didn't bother me. having a job that was physically demanding didn't matter. The way I looked at it was like, this is great for me. This can keep me in shape.
Yeah.
I'm being physically, I'm not sitting in a desk all day.
Yeah.
Going to the field after work when, again, most people, they shut it down and they just watch Netflix all night. That didn't feel like work.
Yeah.
This is something I'm after.
Yeah. Because it's a unique journey, but it's not 100%. There's a lot of guys, trust me, and I found this out. I didn't realize it. There's a lot of guys that play college football. There's a lot of guys that play high school football that play semi-pro ball in their city.
Yeah.
That chase this dream. But I would argue is the differentiator is there's a passion for the game and the process that you had, that I had. There's guys that chase it because that's the way to make money. Yeah. That's a way to make big money. That's a way to get recognized. Chasing that notoriety, chasing that, like, oh, if I play on Sundays, man, my whole life's going to be fixed. Like, and this is my way out. That's a very hard way to sustain it, because if you don't love the game and love the process, it's hard to love the process if you don't love the game. And I mean, it's just one of those things that it's really got to be deep down. What is the reason for that?
Yeah.
And so and that's my question is, when you were doing that, you love the process, but when you said, all right, it's time, walk us through that. Like, walk us through when you said, okay, had a couple workouts and it's just not in the cards.
Yeah. And this is something that even at 34, I struggle with a little bit. Now, I've come to realize that everything happens. Like, it leads you, things that I have now I wouldn't have had if I'd kept trying to pursue it for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So I don't regret ending it.
Yeah.
But hearing like your story, for instance, makes me think, well, maybe I should have gone and played in Canada for a little bit. The problem at the time was ego got me. And you actually mentioned it, guys playing semi-pro ball and holding on. I didn't want to be that. That part of my ego stopped me from that, which is by any means necessary. So although I love that idea of playing pro ball, it wasn't important to the extent that I was just going to literally do anything and go play in arena ball in West Texas somewhere. I didn't want to be seen as the guy that was holding on too long.
That guy.
So it was important, and the ego kept me going, but also the ego said, hey, you're going to give this one good run, and if it doesn't work out for you, it's time to move on.
Yeah.
And so I had 2 tryouts. I had one with the Panthers and one with the Rams that year, and both of them ended up ultimately not signing me. So for me, that was the sign of, okay, I can let it go. I gave it my best run. Now, again, looking back and hearing your story, I'm like, okay, maybe I could have done more. But at the time, that was my best shot.
Yeah.
That was my best effort I could have given. I left nothing on the table that year. I'm very proud of my effort that year. Yeah. There's nothing I feel like I could have done more.
Did you end up getting an agent?
Yes. It was kind of a weird deal. I ended up getting a charity case, basically, of uncle's friend who was an agent who actually had some pretty big name guys. Yeah. Decided to take me on just more of as a charity case. So he didn't help. Yeah. Like, he wasn't making calls. He wasn't beating down anybody's door.
Did he give you any guidance?
Nothing. Okay. Didn't do anything. So I ended up actually firing him and going with a guy who was supportive. He was a little bit hungrier. He had some quote unquote lower level guys. So he was, trying to make a name for himself. He was very helpful. Yeah. So I ended up working with him, but not for very long. He's actually the one that got me the tryout with with the Rams. Okay. My college coach actually got me the workout with the Panthers, which was cool. But the Rams, it was this agent got me the workout. So now, and that's another thing, I was like, if I had an agent the whole time who was actually working for me, I wonder what that would have done. Yeah,
so I downplayed the agent thing quite a bit. Like, oh, they don't do much. But in reality, without going through my whole story, the agent aspect of it for me, I had an agent right out of college. And it was my special team coach's wife. And so she represented a handful of like specialists. So kickers, long snappers, punters that were in the NFL a little bit. And ultimately, and I remember multiple conversations, like her saying like, hey, you're just not good enough to play DN. You're not good enough to do anything else. You just need a long snap. And it was one of those things that it helped me a ton, but it crushed me, and it almost took my spirit, because I knew that I was, and I guess maybe I was the only one that knew that.
Yeah.
But what it did is it taught me to learn a new skill or refine another skill. I was a backup long snapper, but it exposed me to different things, but literally almost sucked the life out of me. When the person that's supposed to be advocating for you, that's supposed to be representing you, tells you that they don't believe, and it was an uphill battle for her, because please don't take this as sexist or anything like that, but she was an unknown woman in a man's industry.
Yeah, that's tough.
And so it's hard, right?
Yep.
She didn't have the relationship. She had relationships with a handful of special teams coaches just because of her husband. And he was a really well-known college special teams coach, really, really well-known, and respect him a ton. But she just didn't have those relationships she did with special teams coaches. But special teams coaches don't have any influence outside of those 3 specialists that they have on the team. So to get workouts as a DN, she didn't have the relationships with GMs, with the scouting guys. Right. She just didn't. And so it was really hard. So I myself went to these workouts, right? You talked about ego. Bro, it's hard.
Yeah.
It like when your agent tells you you're not good enough, and then you're going and paying $200 that you don't have to go to a workout with 1,200 other dudes off the street. Like, it's hard. It's like, what am I doing? And that guy was always going through my mind. Always. And it was like,
so what kept you, and if you haven't heard Tyler's story, I think it was episode 4, literally one of our first episodes that we did. And I'm not saying this just because you're here and we're boys. Like, that was one of my favorite episodes, hearing your story. So if you're new to this, we've had a lot of new listeners, obviously, over the years. Go back and listen to that episode. It's Tyler's journey from start to finish. Incredible story. But that's what I wanted to dive in next, is that 3 or 4 years from end of college to when you actually did make it to the NFL. You guys, maybe you didn't know this, Tyler played 7 years in the NFL. That's 6 years in the NFL. That's literally double the average. That's unbelievable that he played 6 years in it. So this isn't some dude just, lip service. Tyler knows what he's talking about when he talks about doing the work in the dark. And go back and listen to that episode, because your journey is unbelievable. But let's dive into that a little bit. Yeah. You're paying $200 to go to these workouts with 1,200 other dudes. Your own agent's telling you you're not good enough. I'm sure family, maybe not to your face, but maybe behind your back, and friends, they're like, what's he doing? Why is he? Maybe not your family, but there's definitely people in the background, talking about it and like, what's he doing?
Yeah.
What was that like for you? We talk about putting the work in the dark. That was the dark.
Yeah.
You didn't have anybody in your corner, really. What was that like for you?
It was
other than Tiffany, by the way, who's a rock star.
Rock star.
Yeah.
It like you said, you do the work in the dark, but it was a dark time.
Yeah.
Like, emotionally, every single morning, waking up for the 5 a.m. workout, every single morning was an all-out war in my head, because I'm battling that you're not good enough. You're not good enough. Why are you doing this? Why? I mean, this is worthless. Like, literally, you're embarrassing yourself. Every day I had that battle in my head. And I was a local guy. I went to the local college. It was a good program. So I was a recognizable name in the community because I'd had a pretty successful college career. And then now here I am, chasing this dream, going to these workouts, but like, even more humility is like, I'm literally bussing tables at the sports bar across from school. So like, now I've got my old teammates coming in, eating lunch, and like, I'm picking up the trash off of their table, and I'm refilling their waters. And so I'm doing that. So what that period was, I went right out of college. I played in Canada. So I was up there.
Sorry, let me pause you. Not to throw off your vibe too much, but that's funny that you had that thought. Like, my college teammates are coming in, I'm literally picking up trash off their table. Yeah. When I was doing that job in furniture moving, I was kind of a jack of all trades. I was also the janitor for the company. Yeah. I'm literally sweeping and cleaning bathrooms, and I'm sitting here thinking, I have a college degree.
Yeah.
this is I was this close to my dream, and I could not be any further away at this point. I'm literally cleaning toilets right now.
Yeah.
That's amazing that we both had that. Anyway,
no, it's one of the best things that happened to me.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I agree.
And so anyways, I went and played a year in Canada. I come back, and I'm still high off the year in Canada. Like, yeah, this is great. I got one more year, and then I got my option year, and I can come down to the NFL. And then I get cut, and that's where the year really that dark times really started. So here I am, a year and a half essentially after my last year in college, and then. I just started dating Tiffany, and I'm going to workouts at 5 a.m., so same deal. Then I'm going straight, and a booster owned like a little small boutique insurance agency. So I was selling like car insurance and house insurance, right?
That's worse than moving furniture.
Bro, tell me about it. It's like, look, it's a good job if you've been in it for 20 years, right? Because but like to go and again, talk about humility. It's like, hey, I'd love to quote your auto insurance policy. Like, oh, you're a dumb football player. But I'm paying $600 a year. If you can save me money, then I'll move it over there. And it's like, okay, I saved you
$5.99,
$13 a year. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, all right. So then I'm doing that. I'm chasing that. My lunch break, I would go do my speed training. So I'd go work with a group of guys, a bunch. And again, I'm working with like current NFL guys now, like that are in the NFL. So I'm working out with these guys. These guys are driving brand new Escalades, all these deals. And here I show up in my like 2005 Durango that like barely runs and so then doing that. And then I go back to insurance, and then I'd leave early there about 3:00. I'd go to the sports bar for the evening shift. And that's where, okay, now they're coming in and I'm literally cleaning up tables, which is fine. It's a great job. Sure. Like it was what it was, but like now I'm there 4 or 5 nights a week. And then come fall, now I'm working at a pumpkin patch, selling pumpkins and a Christmas tree lot, slinging Christmas trees. So it was just, and all the while dating Tiffany. And here's, again, back to the support. These dark times, there's no way that any of us can make it through those alone. Like there's a lot of work that goes on in the dark, and there's a lot of like self-talk, and you've got to, as an individual, you have to do things to help progress, to like inch your way out of that dark place. But also we need to recognize that you can't do it in isolation.
Right.
Like it's not sustainable. So I luckily had Tiffany, who we were dating at the time, and I knew that I was going to marry her. But again, now here's the humility is like, I'm working 3 jobs. I'm making 0 money at insurance because okay, $18 the pay period. Right. You know what I mean? Yep. And then and then I'm working at a sports bar. So I'm working off tips, and then I'm working at the pumpkin patch, which is like $10 an hour doing that. And so literally this was July of 2009. I was just at a point where I'd just gone on a couple workouts. These where dudes are running in boxer briefs and wife beaters, running 40s. And I'm like, what am I doing? And then I come and I have no money, like not even to where I could pay my car payment and my insurance on my car. And I had to borrow money from this woman that like I'm trying to propose to. And the only way that I could get her a ring is my boss at the insurance company loaned me $5,000.
This employee that makes me nothing, I'm not having to give him money for a ring.
Makes him nothing. But again, I could not have done all of these things without other people.
Sure. Yep.
There's the hard work. There's this, like, whatever. But like doing it alone, that's the crazy part. That's the part there's no way. And so it was a grind, man. And it was a grind. Talk back to the agents. I finally just had enough. And I was like, look, you're not doing anything. Like, I'm talking to you every 2 weeks. I'm finding these workouts. I'm going to these I'm paying. I'm doing all these things. And you're just telling me, no, they're not interested. They're not interested. They're not interested. Well, then I get this other agent, and he's like, hey, look, you've been out for over a year. You just have to get on the field, and you have to get film. Yeah. And that was the best advice that I got. It literally, he goes, look, I've seen your college tape. You're good enough. You need to get film. You've been out a year. There's no scout in America that's going to say, I'm going to go back 2.5 years to look at your college tape and say, yeah, he can still play. Mm-hmm. You have to get film. I was like, all right. So we, started at the bottom, went to the Arena League. By the way, I had literally just gotten married that week. And I had this conversation with my agent. And we get back from our honeymoon, and I literally left 2 days later.
Because y'all were living in Fresno at the time.
Fresno, yep.
And your Arena League was where?
In Salt Lake City.
Salt Lake City.
Yep.
So like, hey, babe, I know we just got married. I know we just got back from a honeymoon, about to start a life together. I'm out.
I'm out.
I'm going to go play in front of 13 people in Salt Lake City.
Oh my gosh. And so, and we had to play on Saturdays because you can't play on Sundays there. I'm just kidding. But to your point, when you said, hey, the real work started after that. And that for me was when the real work started, because now I'm away from my wife. All I wanted to do is be with her. She was working, and so obviously she didn't come. And so I'm there, and okay, we going to practice, but I'm like, this isn't my goal. Yeah. Like, I'm not even thinking about arena. Like, so now I'm in the gym 2.5 hours a day, staying after practice, running routes, not like arena routes, but like actually doing things, getting my head bashed in while I'm actually playing, because Arena League fullbacks and middle linebackers, all they do is it's like a 10-yard sprint at each other every single play, over and over.
Bloody alley for 60 minutes.
Oh, it was miserable. But like, it was all part of it, and got some film, and was really refining my skills back in pads. It had been a while. It had been over a year since I'd been in pads. And so again, the extra work there, and getting my protein intake from chicken breast sandwiches from Subway every single day. It was nobody saw that. And it was lonely, and it was miserable, but that work in the dark is what allowed me all of that time when I actually went to a workout that provided an opportunity. And I was in great shape. I was able to move. I was able to play linebacker and run some routes as a fullback. Mm-hmm. And that's when you talk about the work in the dark, and you talked about quarterbacks. And this was the other thing too, is back when I was in Fresno, is I do my speed training at lunch. Well, I'd grab the current quarterback, and there's a guy named Ryan Colburn. And then my buddy Tom Brandstater, when he was in town, he would come in, 2 quarterbacks. And they'd be out there for an hour just throwing routes to me. And I'm like, just running around. Dude, unbelievable. And without them, I probably caught 100, 150 balls a day, at least, every day for a year, at least. And so now when the opportunity came I'm at this workout in San Diego, California for the UFL team, for the Sacramento Mountain Lions, and the linebacker line has like 60 dudes in it, and the running back line has 15, and the running backs are gassed, and they had to stop the drill so that the running backs could like get a breath. I'm like, shoot, I'll go run some routes.
Yeah.
And I went and ran like 6 routes back to back to back to back, and I caught all of them because of that time
in the dark.
When I was throwing routes with Tom Brandstater and Ryan Colburn. Yeah. And it clicked. Like, we talk about today and social media, and everything that we do, we have to broadcast because it's your brain. People need to know it. I'm going to document the journey. I'm going to do this. Like, I get it, and it's great, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I would say it's if done in the right way, it's encouraging to other people. Because it would have been cool at the time. Now, I didn't need it, but it would have been cool at the time to be able to see some other examples of guys who were trying to do what I was trying to do. So, but I'm totally tracking with you too, is unfortunately, many of the times it's not about who can I encourage. It's about how can I bring more attention to me.
Yeah, and there's 2 trains of thought, right? Like, wait for your opportunity or create your opportunity. I'm all about creating opportunity, but there's times that's out of your control. Mm-hmm. And I think nowadays there's more ability for people to create opportunities and stuff like that. I get it. But the problem I see, the problems that I have, is it's less about the work in the dark and more about broadcasting what you can so it looks like you're doing the work in the dark.
Oh, yeah.
But you're not actually doing the work.
Right.
There's so many of those people, right, they're getting their, getting their workout in, and they're sweaty, and they're like, because they just sprayed and they didn't actually get a full workout in.
I'll be a personal test to that. Have you ever tried to, post different workout clips? I do that sometimes on a one-shot page. You post different workout clips on. It takes so much time.
Yeah.
And what it does take away from is your actual workout. So yeah, you're filming, but you're also now resting 6 minutes in between sets because you're trying to edit the clip and you're trying to post it.
Yeah.
So you're exactly right. It's what you're trying to document. You're not even able to really do because you're trying to document it.
Yeah. I mean, it's the Instagram filter. It's what I want you to think it is and what reality is.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that everybody is that way, but it has become more about filming what looks like you're doing something and less about what you are. And now when a real opportunity comes for you to perform, and in our world, it was, hey, you have to perform. Like if you get the opportunity, there's no faking the work that you did or didn't do. If you did it, okay, now you're ready.
Right.
And luckily in my case is I had support enough to continue doing that work through those really hard times that when the opportunity came, I was ready.
Yeah.
Because I had done the work.
You saw that short line and you said, because I've been putting in the work, I can go to that short line and perform. And
got a call back, and it wasn't like, hey, here's the job, your career's set. No, it was like, okay, now I got to make a decision.
Next step. Yeah.
I got to make a decision. It's okay. Do I leave the arena team? Do I take this other deal, which if you go back and listen to the story, is I had a CFL team that I went to a workout the night before that, and then this workout. I had to pick between them. And I literally had to pick between taking a signing bonus, which would still to this day be the biggest signing bonus that I would have ever gotten. But I had to take sure money, go back up to Canada, or take a risk and move to fullback full time and try this deal and go to a workout. Mm-hmm. It wasn't even a like, hey, we're signing you. It's like, hey, come work out.
Chance, yeah.
And so, but again, it was the work in the dark.
What led you in that moment though to be like what was the decision point?
Oh, 100%.
To turn down money,
100%.
Sure thing.
100% had nothing to do with me. I wanted to go to Canada. I knew it. I liked it. The D-line coach there was a coach at Fresno State right after I left, so I was familiar with him. I knew the technique.
That would have been the comfortable choice.
That's a very comfortable choice.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do that. And that happened multiple times in my career on making a decision one way or the other. And I would always lean towards what I knew and what was comfortable. But again, you can't do it by yourself. You have to have voices, support, encouragement, advice from outside sources, because you get so trapped in these blinders, and you're so focused on your mission and what it is. Okay, I've been working my tail off to keep playing professional football. Here's a professional opportunity, and they're going to pay me to do it. Let's go. As opposed to okay, I got to think long-term. I got to think journey. I got to think strategic. Okay, what's going to be best? And I didn't have that ability at that time because I was so invested in that process. So Tiffany literally was like, hey, I see this, and if this was the only opportunity we had, I would support it. She's like, I can't go with you. So now here's another 6 months that we are not going to live together. Mm-hmm. And you're going to go to Canada. And what then? You're going to go play the same position that you got cut from the team on. And she, if you know my wife, she's very real. She's very honest. Yeah. From the best place, the biggest heart. But you're going to go back there. You've got 2 years. You're already 26 years old. You've got 2 years. Almost 26. You got 2 years up there, and then what? I mean, what is the likelihood of you then coming back to the NFL, where now you've got this league that Dante Culpepper is your quarterback, Danny Green would be your head coach. I mean, you've got a ton of NFL guys, and you get to go play a position, and she even knew this, right? Knew nothing about football. She's like, a position that you're built for.
Right.
She's like, you keep telling me that, hey, I'm not 6'5", I don't have an 8-foot wingspan.
You're not Julius Peppers,
right? You're not him. She's like, so what is the likelihood of you making it as a D end? Or you can go over here and try something new and take a chance on yourself and bet on yourself.
She was your best agent ever.
Bro, if she was my agent, I probably would still be playing. I'm not kidding you. Look, I joke about it, but seriously.
Yeah. Yeah.
But seriously.
She's a bulldog.
And people love her too. And it's like, I told you, she literally introduced me to my offensive coordinator at the Cowboys when he first came, because she met his wife, she met him, and she's like, hey, Scott, I wanted to introduce you to Tyler. Like, what? I've been here for 2 years. And you're introducing me to my offense. He was a new offensive coordinator. Yeah. But either way.
Right.
But again, the theme of this episode is you cannot fake the work in the dark. Yeah. It has to be done.
Yeah.
It has to be done.
What I love about the concept is it's literal, right? Like we opened up, I was literally out there in the dark. You were literally out there in the dark when nobody else was up, because it's a stupid, ungodly time.
Yeah.
But because the goal was so big, that's what it took. So it's literally doing the work in the dark, but it's also the concept of the dark times in your head.
Yeah.
And, all the negativity, because again, I shared it, you shared it, so much negativity along those lines, along that journey of, you can't do this. This is insane.
Yeah.
This is illogical. This is impossible. So that darkness, and then the darkness of, I don't need anybody's approval for this. Yeah. I'm doing this because it's what needs to be done to get the job done.
Yeah.
That's the work in the dark.
Yeah.
So for somebody listening to this, what do you hope they take away?
Yeah.
If a young kid stumbled on this, 13, 14, 15, if our own boys, Luca, who's 8, when he's 12 and he stumbles on this episode, what do you hope that he gets out of it?
So, and I would even say, let's open this up to, men, women, moms, dads,
anybody.
Whoever, because here's the reality is that, one, you have to believe and bet on yourself enough to chase an unrealistic, irrational goal. I think that's really important, that you have to bet on yourself. Okay? So in order to do that, bet on yourself. But here's the thing, is the work in the dark, whether you're doing this work to be a professional athlete, to be a business owner, the entrepreneur, a doctor, whatever it is.
A parent that's active in your kid's life.
Yes. Yes. Look, the work in the dark, the preparation, those dark times, those hard times, they may not get you that goal that you set yourself for. But guess what? They're going to get you a better goal. Mm-hmm. I promise you, because it was those times for me that shaped everything about my life. Those times were more crucial in my development as a man and as a human than any other time. Because look, yes, I worked hard, and when in high school and wrestling, I wrestled and I did leadership and I worked hard, but in reality, things were easy. When I look back, and they were hard at the time. When I look back, it was nice. It was laid out like, okay, hey, yeah, work really hard, because you're playing high school football. It's easy to work hard when you're the starting quarterback, right?
Yeah.
It's easy to work hard when you're going for a state championship in wrestling. It's easy to work hard when you're trying to get that starting job in a Division I football program. It's easy to do those things when you've got a weight room and staff and nutritionist and all these things. It's easy to work really hard and to be the hardest worker in the room. It's really easy. But you ask The Rock, and he always talks about be the hardest worker in the room. It's probably not nearly as hard for him to be the hardest worker in the room now than it was when he had $7 in his wallet.
Yep.
And
totally agree.
He had just come off of playing college football. So for me, and for what I want you to take is what the skills, the resiliency, the calluses, the self-awareness that you learn going through just that absolute grind of a time, you cannot replicate. And test yourself when it's not easy. Mm-hmm. You will learn more about yourself when your goals seem further away than ever, but I'm going to continue pursuing it, continue refining, continue reshaping, continue new paths, and and exploring new opportunities, like that grind, when everything says that you shouldn't, that when an opportunity will come, that is when it will pay off. And that will shape your day-to-day behavior. It shapes my day-to-day behavior. Not perfect by any means. That's not what I'm saying. But because I can recall on those experiences, it's really not that hard to get up at 5, leave my house in North Texas, drive my truck to the CrossFit gym, work really hard, then come down to the podcast, and then go to the office, whatever it is. That stuff is it's not that hard.
Yeah.
Because you have something to relate it to.
You've been through this. You've done this before.
And it's like, there's different challenges, don't get me wrong, but I'm telling you, like, be the hardest worker in the room when no one's in the room. Be that guy.
Yeah.
Because those times are going to set you up for you to be able to accomplish whatever you want after that.
Yeah, I mean, our answers are, you basically took the words out of my mouth, which is our results were different. Like, you had the Hollywood ending that you were after. The reward that you wanted was ultimately achieved. For me, it wasn't. But I'm exactly like you. What I learned in that 2-year process, I still apply to when I'm 34.
And I joke a lot about, Ben, he's the hardest worker I know, and still he's probably the best athlete that I'm around right now, still to this day. But again, Ben, with what you went through, the adversity, I know there's times you're like, man, I wish I'd have just maybe done a little bit more, gone to Canada, even in the arena. But the reality is, man, is God has you where you're at for a reason. Yeah. And the journey that you went through, I mean, what would it have looked like with your boys had you gone and played? Well,
now I have a perspective as I'm raising them. I now have a perspective of true hard work. If it had always just been easier, like you said, it's really easy to work hard when you're the starting quarterback.
Yeah.
If it had always just been easy for me.
Yeah.
And then when my sons start to meet challenges, I can't relate to that.
Yeah.
But now I can absolutely relate.
Yeah.
My 5-year-old is a better athlete than I was at that age. So my assumption is if he heads down the right path, he's going to have success in that realm. And that's okay if he doesn't. But what I'm saying is, when he does meet adversity, I'm now able to relate.
Yes.
And when he does meet challenges, I'm now able to relate.
For them to actually receive it.
Yeah.
Because we think back and my dad, some of the things that he used to share with me, I'm like, Dad, you have no idea.
Yeah. Well, it's a paradox, right? Because you don't, and we talk about it all the time. I hope things go smoothly for whatever it is he pursues, whether it's sports, business, whatever they pursue. I hope it goes well for them. But at the same time, I'm like, maybe it won't go well for him, and that's okay too. Because he's going to learn something from that. Because to your point, if I had pursued it a little further this way, or if I'd tried a little bit more that way, or if I'd given it a little bit longer, I don't ever meet Darren. I don't ever end up at the real estate firm we're at. We never meet, right? More than likely. There's just so many things that have happened because I decided at that moment that it was time.
See how many millions of people now are blessed with this podcast because you didn't make it.
Because I didn't make it. Because I'm a loser. No, but seriously, that's what I want people to take away is whether it ends up the way you hope it does or not, the lessons you're going to learn from that time, you can apply to anything else that you do.
Yeah, and you talked about our job, and this is just bragging on Ben a little bit more, is the work ethic that we talk about, working out, being consistent, that's not exclusive to the physical stuff that you do. Ben in our company is the guy that you can rely on more than anybody. If you ask for something or you need something or something needs to get done, he's the one that's like, all right, he's got it. It's going to get done. And again, it's because of your journey, your preparation, the failures, the wins, but the resiliency just to get stuff done and to be able to rely on you. I mean, I don't know if there's anybody in the company better at that.
I appreciate that. And let's talk about that for just a second. I know we got to wrap this up, but we talk about waking up early and going to work out and then going to work all day and then going to work out again and the lessons and how that translates. Think about our first few years in real estate. I know you had to do this because we did it together.
Yeah.
Your first few years in real estate are a grind.
Yeah.
It's literally going door to door, knocking, getting doors slammed in your face, being told no. Yeah. It's you're getting told no 9.8 times out of 10.
Yeah.
There is not many yeses in this business. It's thankfully the yeses you do get can ultimately end up in, you know, a successful career and a successful year.
Yeah.
But you're dealing with rejection day after day, hour after hour. This business we're in is very much about doing the work in the dark. We're out driving, you know, I'm out over at DFW Airport knocking on companies who have big warehouse spaces by the airport. There's nothing sexy about that. No. It sucks. Yeah. I hate it. I don't like walking up the doors and being rejected. It's not a fun feeling. That's the dark though. Yeah. Mentally. Mm-hmm. Actually, you know, getting through that. That's what we're talking about, is putting the work. Now, both you and I have been in real estate, you've been a little bit longer, but now we're both enjoying the rewards of those 3, 4, 5 years of the dark.
Yeah.
And so, yes, it's easy to paint the picture with football, but it's exactly what we're turning. Now we take that lesson, what we learned there, and now we can apply it in business. Yeah. And guess what? We can do that with our parenting as well. Yeah. The dark with parenting is these times whenever you yell at your kid whenever you should be calm. That's a dark moment. Yeah. That's something you got to learn from. That's wielding those parenting skills in the dark, quote unquote. Yeah. So that your kids end up in a way that's much better. Yeah. Than they would be had they not had that guidance.
That's right.
So that's what I encourage people is whether it ends up the way you hope it does or not, the lessons you're going to learn from the dark are going to apply to everything.
Yeah. That's good, man. And this is something, like you said, I hope that y'all out there are able to take something, apply it to your life, be able to hopefully just be encouraged that it's not for nothing. The hard work is not for nothing. Like, it may seem like it. That's why we talk a lot about like celebrating the small wins, trying to keep yourself encouraged. But the hard work in the dark is vital to just shaping a life that you can be proud of. Mm-hmm. And so I hope that our kids can listen to this episode in a few years and say, all right, now, you know, it's not so crazy to want to get up and go throw routes with my buddy, or, hey, do that extra schoolwork or that extra science project, or, hey, go to voice lessons, or whatever it is, right, that they're into at that time. But hopefully this is an encouragement, because look, we're not the richest people. We're not the most successful people. We don't have it all figured out, but we have life experiences that we feel can encourage other people. Mm-hmm. We went through some hard times. I think we still had a really great life.
Well, we're better off for those times.
But here's the deal: like, nobody's unique. We're not superstars. We're not anything. Like, everybody has challenges. Everybody has things that they go through. Our just encouragement is keep pushing through and believe in yourself.
Yep, love it. We're on day 2 right now of the One Shot Brain Challenge. # One Shot Brain Challenge.
Come on.
Yesterday we were successful, day 1. Mm-hmm. So going for day 2 here. If you don't know what that's about, go back and listen to yesterday's episode. Yep. We're doing something every single day the rest of the month that's going to improve our cognitive and brain health. Yep. And again, go listen to the context.
It's a short 2-week deal, just to get this started. But hopefully this is something that you and I and a handful of y'all, or hopefully a lot of you, start to implement and just make it regular, make it a part of your daily routine.
So part of the challenge is take a picture. You know, the writing with pen and paper is one of them. Take a picture that you know, you sitting at your desk or whatever. Post it on your stories. # One Shot Brain Challenge, and that's what we're doing the rest of the month. And there's some significant money on the line between Tyler and I, but hopefully, like Tyler said, hopefully you guys are joining as well, and it's improve. The point of it is to improve, right? The point of it is to better ourselves. Yep. And so hopefully you guys are enjoying that. But yeah, go follow us at one.shot.pod to follow on that journey. So, man, that was fun. Again, apologies for the beginning. I didn't know that was going to happen. You know, it's like we said, like you take yourself back. Mm-hmm. The dark, although it shaped us very well, it was dark at the time. And it's just interesting how 12 years later, I still feel it.
Hopefully people that heard that realize how important this is, how important this is to both of us. And I've always struggled with emotions. I've always struggled like showing those things. As I've matured, man, those are the things, the transparency, the realness, so that someone else can take that. And hopefully they felt the authenticity of how important that was to you, how hard that time was, but also hopefully y'all caught the joy on the backside of it, right?
Yeah.
Living a life that if you were to look at that now, you'd be like, bro, I made it.
Yeah. Oh,
you know?
for sure.
So,
For sure. Yeah, from scrubbing toilets to where I'm now, this is what I dreamed about.
Yep.
Now the vocation is different. The job is different.
Now we got that dopamine effect.
The job, the details are different.
Yeah.
But the result of where I am today to where I hoped I was at the time is the same.
Yeah.
So anyway, appreciate you guys. Thanks for following along and listening to us. Hopefully this was beneficial. If it was, please share it. Leave us a review. If you've already left a review, go leave another one on the podcast app that you're listening to. That helps us reach more people and grow this thing. So appreciate you guys. Hope you have a great rest of the week. Good luck to your boys this weekend.
You too.
Flag football.
Yeah. This is
intense.
This is the first official week. This last week was a scrimmage.
Okay.
So this is it. Hey,
we get no scrimmages, man. We're in
now.
it. We're in it. We're 0-1, but we're in it.
You guys did lose. Okay. Dang.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's all good. So anyway, appreciate you guys. Talk to you next week.